Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will talk about labor legislation implies the labor laws, which is used to denote the body of laws which deal with the employment and non-employment, wages, working conditions, industrial relations, social security, labor welfare of industrially employed persons. Any enlightened state would intervene in the conduct of industry and impose statutory obligations, mostly on the employers and also to a lesser degree on the workers, in order to maintain industrial peace and good relations between management and workers, and to secure to the better working conditions a minimum wage, compensation in case of accidents, medical facilities, provisions for the future must be provided. The origin and growth of labor legislation may be ascribed mostly to the development of organized industry, where a large number of workers, including women and children, are employed under conditions which tend to be detrimental to their health, safety, and welfare, and against which they are often unable to protect themselves. Let's explain two basic concepts. The relationship between workers and employers is one of the partnership in the maintenance of production and the building up of the national economy. The second concept is that the community as a whole, as well as individual employer, are under an obligation to protect the well-being of workers and to secure to them their due share in the gains of economic development. Therefore, is twofold. First is to improve the service condition of industrial labor so as to provide for them the ordinary amenities of life, and by that process to bring about in the industrial peace, which could in its turn accelerate productive activity of the country, resulting in its prosperity. The second object of labor legislation is the prosperity of the country in its turn helps to improve the conditions of labor. The social and economic upliftment of the labor is very important for securing industrial peace, which is essential to increase the national. The labor has a vital role in increasing the productivity, and management has to help create conditions in which the workers can make their maximum contribution towards their objective. One of the main tasks of the labor movement and the trade union is to evolve practical ways in which they can make an increasing contribution to national development and national policy. The growth of the public sector provides opportunities for working out new concepts of labor legislations and the association of labor in labor legislation is necessary for the following reasons. First, the individual workers are economically weak. They cannot bargain with the employers for the protection of their rights and even for subsistence wages. As such, legislation for protection of labor against long hours of work, unhygienic conditions of work, low wages, and exploitation is needed. Secondly, the workers are exposed to certain risks in factories, mines, and other establishments. As such, in order to make provision for their health, safety, and welfare, legislation is required. Thirdly, in order to increase the bargaining power of labor, legislation is necessary to increase the formation of industrial disputes which lead to strikes and knockouts. Labor legislation is needed. Fifth, to protect the children and women from taking to work under hazardous conditions and at odd hours, laws are very necessary. Laws must be there for providing compensation to the workmen who die or are injured during and in the course of employment and are also needed. Labor legislation enhances the interest of the working people and thus helps set up the development of the national economy on a very sound and self-reliant. Have known about the needs of labor legislation. What are the principles of certain fundamental principles? First is social justice. In an industrial setup, the social justice means an equitable distribution of profits, benefits accruing from industry between industrialists and workers, and affording protection to the workers against harmful effect of their health, safety, and morality. Mere compliance with and enforcement of legal rights may be unfair and cause hardship to the workers, as workers employer contracts are generally one sided and directed by the employers. The Workmen's Compensation Act 1923 and the Minimum Wages Act 1948, for example, these are the attempts of securing social justice to the workers. The provisions of the Factories Act 1948, fixing hours of work, overtime, leave, privileges, welfare facilities, and safe working conditions, are also directed towards the same act. The social justice is the signature tune of the Constitution of India, and this note is no way more vibrant than in industrial jurisprudence. The preamble to our Constitution also lays down the objective of establishing justice, social, economical, and principle is the social equity. Another principle on which the labor legislation is based is social equity. Now, legislation based on social justice fixes a definite standard for adoption for the future, taking into consideration the events and circumstances of the past and the present. But with the change of circumstances and ideas, there may be a need for change in law. This power of changing the law is taken by the government by making provisions for true making powers in the acts in regard to certain specified matters. The rules may be modified or amended by the government to suit the changed situation. Such legislation is based on the principle of social equity. International uniformity, it is in another principle on which the labor laws are based. The important role played by the International Labour Organization, in short ILO, in this connection is praiseworthy. ILO is an international agency which was founded in 1919, soon after the First World War. Its main aims are to remove the injustice, hardship, and deprivation of large masses of toiling people all over the world, and to improve their living and working conditions, and therefore establish universal and lasting peace based upon social justice. It is a tripartite organization consisting of representative of government, employers, and workers of the member countries. It is a representation between government and non-government parties welding together employers and workers in different countries into independent organizations. By its tripartite character of association of representatives of government, employers, and workers, it has produced a large number of international conventions and recommendations covering unemployment, general conditions of employment, wages, hours of work, weekly rest periods, holidays, employment of children, young persons and women, industrial health safety, social security, industrial relations, and many other allied subjects. The basic principle of the labor policy of ILO are as follows. The labor is not a commodity. It must be treated as a human being, a person. Freedom of expression and association are very important to contribute to prosperity everywhere. War against want requires to be carried on with unending vigor within each nation and by continuous efforts in which the representatives of the workers and employers enjoying equal status with those of government join with them in free discussion and democratic decision with a view to the promotion of common welfare. ILO aims at securing minimum standards on a uniform basis in respect of all labor matters. Conventions passed by ILO conferences, if and when ratified by a member state, have to be implemented through appropriate legislation. Most of the labor legislation in India is based on this principle. National economy. In enacting labor legislation, the general economic situation of the country has to be borne in mind lest the very objective of the legislation be defeated. The state of national economy is an important factor in influencing labor legislation in the country.